Hi everyone, it's Cal. I hope you're doing well. Today I just want to talk a little bit about the future because now the star seeds are starting to come into fruition. And that means the body has been built and the quadrants of the mind are built, and we are coming closer to a close in a 24,000 year cycle. Now, I can't pinpoint the date exactly, but we are heading up towards that. And we have been moving through the cycle of the circle, and it is the circle that has been building our bodies and our minds, and we have been morphing from minerals to insects, from insects to, reptiles, and so on and so forth. Whatever we needed to balance out our mind and to move to the next stage, we morphed into that. But when we get to the height of human, we've come to completion of the, how do I say this, the form. And the form reflects God. I don't know if you've seen the webinar, but if you haven't, you can link below. And incidentally, if there are any questions on the webinar, for those of you that have seen it, please post on the community pages so I can answer you. Now, I wanted to have more time to donate to that webinar, but I have just got so many presentations ahead. And but I still want to address any questions that are out there, and I'm sure there are many, because that was only just a bird's eye view, a quick bird's eye view of what's going on. So we've been moving through the cycle of the circle, and now we're coming up to fruition. And right now we're on a precipice where our minds are wanting to be captured. Now, we don't want them to be captured. We want freedom. But we are at a pivotal stage. And I just want to talk a little bit about the two, there are two halves of one cycle. This is the cycle of the circle. And of course, there's a positive half and a negative half. And negative doesn't mean like bad negative. One means sort of high octave, and another one sort of means low octave. And we started here and we're going to end here. So we're building up the mind, and then we're going into joy, and we're arriving back home again. And hopefully we're going to arrive home with the bodies that we came here to claim, the extra force that we wanted. It's really the spirit that the soul is garnering. So the cycle of the circle actually looks like a sine wave if you're looking at it from this if you're looking at it sort of sideways. And this is the alpha, or the masculine. And then we're right about here in our development. And then we're going to be coming back down into the feminine. The feminine is the whole, the greater, the omega. And the masculine is sort of the alpha. And we see the system sort of alive on the planet as the alpha, as the creators, the ones that, bring us the iPhones, or bring us the fancy new cars, or bring us all this data that is actually killing our mind. Those are the creators. So, but there are many creators in different ways, but these are the ones that are kind of in the forefront today. Now, when we think about the alpha, the masculine, we can think about sort of social media, but we can also think about administration, spreadsheets, data. So it's not like the masculine is so bad. It's everything must be balanced. So we are building our minds. And the other side is the feminine, okay? And the feminine is really, It's really where you come from. It's the soul. This is spirit, this is soul, so to speak. And remember, this is all sort of lightly because it's really kind of all meshed together. But we see the feminine force sort of as dance, music, movies, and all these things that make us feel. Okay, so we've got this structure, this hierarchy, and then we have our source, which is the feeling aspect. And one causes wholeness, and if they're not balanced, one can cause this too much alpha. And believe me, I have been there. It can cause estrangement from society. It can cause fragmentation. It's what causes it can cause illness, and it can really diffuse the hearing, because this is you right here. As you grow, mind exists all throughout your body, okay? So it is expanding, and you're controlling it. And this is what forms your auric field. This is what is forming your vibration. This vibration becomes broken and fragmented, and the signals cannot be heard when it gets fragmented, okay? And when the alpha is out of balance, that's what happens. Too much social media, too much dependency on anything alpha, that's what it causes. We're trying to balance the hemispheres, okay? And then we've got the feminine. And the feminine, generally, the music, the dance, the movies, all these things are created to release blocks to help you hear better, okay? You've got an axis that runs north-south in your body, and this is the feminine down here, and this is the masculine up here, the alpha. And the alpha of the system are the stars out there that make up the web. So and the feminine is the omega, the backdrop that the stars sit on. So you can imagine how great the omega is. She is the all, okay? And I'm not saying one is better than the other, because those stars you see out there are the noble creators of the system that we were able to be born into. And everything out there in the universe, as beautiful as it is crying to be born into a system. And we are lucky to be here. We are lucky to be in the system. Because we get to improve ourselves, we get to grow our vibration. If we're lucky enough, we can harness more spirit and take that with us into the cosmos, maybe be born again into another planet somewhere. I mean, we've got infinity to do this, but we do not want our minds to be captured. And one thing I really would like to point out is what makes us feel good is really important right now, because with all this data, we really need to highlight we need to be able to recognize what makes us feel good, because we get so caught up in the data, we forget about the things that make us feel alive. And it's really critical to keep a tab on what makes us feel alive. And I just spent the afternoon deleting as much apps on my phone and getting rid of as much as possible. And I think I might be deleting all my social media channels as well. And it's so hard because we're so hardwired to this, but sometimes it's necessary to find the truth of you and to stay harnessed to that truth of you. So, another thing I want to point out about feeling good is the thing that really most makes us feel good is our connections to one another. And I know I just talked about social media, but it's really our local connections that make us feel good. Helping someone cross the street, talking to someone, at the supermarket, or laughing with the teller at the bank. These little things really let us know we are the same. And really, so much on social media is just derailing us because we're getting so moved away from truly who we really are. And what we really are, what this material rotting body holds is a pearl in the making. We are becoming the pearl. And the pearl is a strong crystal. It is resilient, and it is knowing, and it has courage and strength and righteousness. And this is our future. If it isn't us right now, it is our future. And what defines that is not the cars, the beautiful face, the hair, the house, or any of these material things that we think we need, or that we think we're in love with, or that we think we must have. Nothing. The only thing that determines who we are is our vibration. And our vibration is defined by our choices, is defined by our thoughts, is defined by our words, and is defined by our actions. This is critical. This makes us who we are. We are not a Gucci purse. We are not a Ferrari. We are not any of these things. We are beyond that, and we are so much richer and so much vibrant than we ever could imagine that we are. And right now we are beginning to burst through to that other side, and the pearl is beginning to start to know itself. And with the onslaught of data coming at us, that causes nothing but confusion, fragmentation, breakdown. It becomes so difficult to man our worlds because we're moving through all this data all the time. I can't even tell you, I spent hours on the phone in the last 3 days talking to the bank about something so ridiculous that they did, and it had to do with data. And the person I was talking to on the phone could not see the silliness of it. That's okay, I'm not going to get into it here, but I really want to hit home that what defines us is our choices. And again, thoughts, words, and deeds. And going forward, we are really going to need to remember this. We are really going to remember to make our own decisions based on us, not on any authority outside of us. And this does not mean, axe murdering people or doing anything, unholy out there. What it has to do with is being whole, being connected, being in the flow of who you really are, which is a fantastic and beautiful thing. And the fact that you're here on this planet, how lucky we all are to be here. But so this is pivotal because we are actually, I just wanted to point out a little, we are here at the bottom. So how do you think this 1% at the top makes their money? Makes it off us. And we are giving away so much about ourselves at every turn. Now, I don't want to make this a whole conspiracy video or anything like that. I just want to say, be aware of your choices every time you step into more data, because it's fragmenting us and it's causing a plethora of confusion where the kids of today don't even know who they are, don't even know what could define them. And that what is defining them is what lives within. It is not the ability to amass money. It is not you know, the ability to be, you know, oh, just so beautiful that everybody wants you. It is not the ability to do any of these things. These are coming from unbalanced mind. Balance is harmony. Balance is living in joy and happiness every day. Balance is recognizing the beauty of everyday living, and living is a beautiful thing. But we're getting so off the beaten path that I just wanted to jump on and point out how far we've come, and not to give away ourselves, because each one of us, the tiniest, most unvocal person, is just as beautiful as the biggest, loudest person. Humanity is beautiful. There is nothing wrong with anyone. But when this imbalance starts to take over, that's when things start to go screwy. So really trying to understand that you need the fresh air, that you need to exercise, that you need to look at both sides of any given situation that might cause a heated emotion in yourself, and balance the mind at every stage, and balance the body too. Sometimes the feminine can get out of whack, and when that happens, sloth, things become very undefined, things become very sloth-like, you know. And I hate to use the term sloth, because I actually was wondering about it one day, and I looked it up, and they're actually beautiful animals. But I just want to use the scattered kind of lazy blob kind of thing can be the feminine force when it's out of balance. And I've been there. When I had everything I thought I wanted, I sort of turned into this big blob. Oh, what do I want? You know, so it's really finding balance in life, and balance can really put things into perspective. That gives you purpose, that gives you great everyday living, and wonderful friends to spend time with, and to remember that, you know, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be at the top of the mountain. The mountain can't be seen because it lives inside of you. And that really every day we're fighting the war within that causes the wars without. And we always want to bring balance to our system between the masculine and the feminine. But at the same time, we have to, we look out within, but we got to look out without the world, outside in the world too. You know, we have to protect ourselves from too much data. We have to protect ourselves from other things. And on the inside, we have to watch ourselves, and we have to protect ourselves by watching what we eat and things like this. It's a whole balance. Life is a balance. So I just wanted to pop on and talk about what could possibly be happening in the future. And just remember, too much data, too much comparison, too much trying to be perfect, this crazy perfectionism. And I spent 14 years in it and had a big crash. This pursuing of the ultimate is a car crash coming at you. So really trying to rein yourself in, notice what's happening around you, and notice what's happening inside of you. And believe me, I certainly haven't arrived. I battle this every day. And not ruling things out. You know, I have a saying that I accept that everything is true until I find out it's not, rather than being caught in total denial and not accepting that anything could possibly be true except your own thing, or what your family knows, or what you know. But just accept that everything is true until you find out it's not. And then that makes everything much easier to be a little bit vigilant of things. And above all, keep working on your health. Health is critical. Health is critical, and health just isn't working out. It's watching the foods that go in your body too. And not just that, it's mental health and trying to stay balanced between these two forces, trying to get more into the feminine, because the feminine really is the healer. Like, don't forget about the music that you love. Don't forget about the little things you love to do. You know, even if it's, I don't know, sitting in the corner of your room, reading a book that you read when you were 5, whatever it is that makes you feel good, hang on to that, because that is critical. Feeling good is critical because feeling good causes your system to balance. When the mind gets all bent out of shape about the data, the money, the clothes, the car, or all these things, it gets so far removed from itself, and that's when harm can really happen to your system, and it can really happen